So God bless everyone. I am Princess Din Mamenta and this is our topic, which is the early philosophers. So Aristotle and Ethics. So the most famous and thorough of Aristotle's ethical works is his Nicomachean Ethics. So what is Nicomachean Ethics? So Nicomachean Ethics is the science of good for human life. No, so this work is an inquiry into the best life for human being to live. So the life of human flourishing or happiness is the best life. It is important to note that what we translate as happiness is quite different for Aristotle than it is for us. We often considered happiness as a mood or an emotion, but Aristotle considered it as an activity, a way of living one's life. So it is essential to know the difference between our perceptions to Aristotle's definition sa happiness, no? Because for us, happiness, it is a mood or an emotion or expression nga makita nato sa isa ka individual, if happy ba siya or sad ba siya. So but kay Aristotle, it is an activity or a way that living one's life. So what are the activities? So it can be work or mga mga sports, mga activities na ginabuhat nato everyday nga makakuha sa to ag happiness. So happiness, is the practice of virtue or excellence. So we'll know happiness is the pleasure or gladness or joyful nga ma-feel sa isa ka individual. So we tend to feel happiness especially if we feel love or if we accomplish something we aim jud nato siya, and also if we engage mga activities nga gusto nato buhaton. And there are two types of virtue, which are the character virtue and intellectual virtue. So character virtue, this can be learned through habit and constant practice. So example alino is the honesty, courage, and self-control sa isa ka individual tungod kay ma-learn nato ni siya through our behaviors. And intellectual virtue, this can be learned through instruction. So this can be like aiming things or having knowledge and understanding and wisdom. So example, being curious sa mga sa mga things, and also wondering sa mga sa mga panghitabo sa atong palibot, and being open-minded sa mga situations nga nanghitabo sa ato ang society. So according to Aristotle, the activity of the soul in accordance with the virtue is the best life for human beings through the human function. So according daw kay Aristotle, ang activities sa mga individual in accordance sa virtue or goodness is the best life for human being through human function. So for instance, if we say human being have a function or work nga i-perform, then we can know that performing that function well will result sa best life sa isa ka individual. So, the happiest life is the practice of virtue, and this is practiced under the guidance of reason. So, what is reason, DI? So, reason, it is the ability or the capacity to think. So, for instance, if you choose to do something good sa imong isig katawo, it's your decision, no? Or your capacity to think, because you choose the best way or right way nga buhaton nga makapahappy sa imuha, because it is your objectives or purpose. So friendship is also necessary part of happy life. So what is friendship now? So it is the state of enduring affection and trust between two people. So we people as a friend, no, or a set of friends, we hang out together, we talk, we bond together, and we trust each other, no. So why it is important sa happy life ang friendship? Because friendship is a way nga maka-cause ato og happiness. So for instance, if we have a problem sa ato ang balay, no, and if we go to school and makita nato tong mga friends, so malimtan nato nga natay problem sa ato ang balay. So because of them, because of friends, we became happy, we feel happiness. So that's why it is necessary, or it is a part, no, sa happy life. And there are three types of friendship. So friendship of excellence, friendship of pleasure, and friendship of utility. So, friendship of excellence. So, it is based upon virtue and each friend enjoys and contemplates the excellence of his or her friend. So, ang example nino is the people nga nakauban mo when playing soccer or going bike rides. So, friendship of pleasure are those where people find each other because of the enjoyment brings. So, ang example ani, people hanging out due to fitting hobbies or naslay parehas nga hobbies. Or people nga na ay common interest. Mo na friendship of pleasure. So, friendship of utility. So, the two parties are not in it because of the affection of one another, but more so because each party receives a benefit in exchange. So, ang friendship of utility is quite different sa kay friendship of excellence and pleasure, no? Kay kani siya wala siya ga-engage in affection sa duha ka individual, but tungod kay na sila benefit nga makuha. So, ang example ani no, business partners and mga entrepreneurs nga ga-promote sa ilahang each other's work. So, life of charya or contemplation. So, this is the most divine life since one comes closest to the pure activity of thought. It is the most self-sufficient life since one can think even when one is alone. So, life of charya or contemplation means it is the most divine life, no? Since one comes closest to the pure activity of thought. So, ang life of charya or contemplation means ang isa daw ka individual engage in activity where he or she can make time with his or herself, such as a meditation, spending time with nature, or mag-exercise and dance. Since ang contemplation man God is the ability to speak and act, and it is an intentional solitude and making time to think. So, ang charya is a Greek word that is rooted in a verb proceeding, hence our word chatter. So, telos, so it is derived from the Greek word for end, purpose, or goal. So, it is the root of the term theology, roughly the study of purposiveness or the study of objects with a view to their aims, purposes, or intentions. On telos, it is an inherent purpose of each thing. So, it is the explanation of phenomena or mga panghitabo in terms of purpose they serve rather than postulated causes. So, example ano is the purpose sa eye is to see, and the purpose sa knife is to cut, and the purpose sa hammer is to hammer things. So, that's their purpose. So, St. Thomas Aquinas on virtue, no? The moral philosophy in St. Thomas Aquinas involves a merger of at least two apparently disparate traditions, which are the Aristotelian eudaimonism and Christian theology. So, Aristotelian eudaimonism, so it is the highest human good, the only human good that is desirable for its own sake rather than for the sake of something else. So, kaning Aristotelian eudaimonism, no, it is the highest human good that is desirable for its own sake rather than for the sake of something else. So, this means that this is doing good without any qualifications. No, for example, volunteering or giving money to someone that need it, and also expressing your gratitude for another actions. So, and Christian theology, it is the study of God. So, according to Aquinas, he believes that we can never achieve complete or final happiness in this life for him. So, final happiness consists in beatitude or supernatural union with God. So, it is the relationship ni mo as a believer and kay God. So, twofold happiness. So, in human life leads to a distinction between the natural virtues and the theological virtues. So, natural virtues are virtues that pertains to the happiness of this life that is proportionate to human nature. So, kanidiyang natural virtues are virtues that pertain to the happiness of this life that is proportionate sa usa ka human, no? So, this are the qualities sa usa ka individual or person. So, it can be someone's creativity or honesty or someone's confidence or leadership baka sa ka-individual. That is nature na sa iyaha. So, the natural virtues are divided into moral virtues and intellectual virtues. So, moral virtues, it is the moral characters is a individual, no, that includes traits like courage, generosity, and compassion, while the intellectual virtues, these are the intellectual characters is a individual, such as being curious about things, being open-mindedness, and has an intellectual perseverance. So, it means that being decisiveness or being determined. Theological virtues pertain to the beatitude that is not appropriate to human nature. the supernatural good of life. So example ano, faith, hope, and love, since these are the supernatural capacities to receive from Jesus fullness of grace.
So God bless everyone. I am Hazel Tumimbang and I am the second reporter. Cans on goodwill. To act out of a goodwill, for Kant means to act out of a sense of moral obligations or duty. In other words, the moral agent does a particular action not because of what it produces or its consequences in terms of human experience, but because he or she recognized by reasoning that it is morally the right things to do and thus regards him or herself as having a moral duty or obligation to do that actions. So ang Kant on goodwill is means kanang bitang obligation nimo or duty sa imo ang pagka social worker or bisan unsa basta kay nakay good sa imo ang heart nga mutabang sa mga katawhan. So kuan man na siya sa atong human experiences kung kita nga makakita ta sa naitawo nga nagkalisod, so obliged nato nga mutabang ta bisan pa og wala tay katungdanan sa atoang barangay or country. One may, of course, as an added fact, get some pleasure or other gain from doing the right things, but to act morally. One does not to do it for the sake of its desirable consequences, but rather because one understands that it is morally the right things to do. So, kung kabalota nga naay kuan naay isa ka tawo nga nagnid og tabang sa tua, so muchos ta sa to ang right kung unsa tong buhaton mo tabang bata or dili. Pero kay ang gingon diri goodwill is a good person. Kung ikaw good person ka, nara pud sa imo kung motabang baka or dili, bas kung imo bang ipaira lang imong huna-huna, imong utok or imo ang kaning dughan nga mutabang jud ana nga tawo. So in this respect, Kant's view towards morally parallels the Christian's view concerned obedience of God's commandments, according to which the Christians obey God's commandments simplify because God's commands. So si Kant nag-respect sa 10 commandments sa Ginoo or nag-obey sa commandments nga magbuhat ta og kaning sakto nga decision nato sa tong kinabuhi. So mo na siya nga nag-respect siya or nag-obey siya sa God's commandments. So for example is ang love your neighbors is nabilong or naana siya sa 10 commandments sa sugo sa Ginoo. So ikaw nga for example giliba ka sa imong silingan, but kaning nakay kasuko saya kay gidaot kaniya, pero ikaw nga kaning kabalo ka sa kung unsa ang sugo sa Ginoo, bisan pag unsa ang imong kalagot sila pero kung mangayo sila tabang nimo, dili ka magduha-duha og tabang kay nana siya sa 10 commandments. So mo nang nag-respect or nag-obey si Kant sa 10 commandments sa Ginoo. So next, Kant on right. So si Immanuel Kant 1724 and 1804 examined the idea of human rights within politics in such a way that it is only a legitimate government that guarantees our natural rights to freedom, and from this freedom we derive others' right. From this basis, it can be assumed that Kant looks at the development creation and implementation of rights as primarily dependent of the state and how the government within the state functions. So si Immanuel Kant nag-examine siya sa idea of human rights sa mga politics. But it is only a legitimate government that guarantees our natural right to freedom. So kuan kaning only the legitimate government. So sa karon good nga kuan generations is kung magkwanta sa ato ang human rights or freedom to choose is kuan kaning dili na nila ikuan i-implement kay tungod sa kuan nila kanang bitang nana sila rangko sa tuang barangay or kuan kaning katungod sa tuang kuan kaning lugar og kuan kaning for example kung kuan kaning nakay para sa giingon ni ma'am atong last report nga kuan kaning kung nakay ikaw nga nakay katungod sa tuang barangay dayon na ay ayuda so ikaw may kuan kaning namang kay kaning katungod sa kuan ikaw may leader so kung ikaw ang mopili kung for example kani parente nimo ni tagaan nimo ni 10,000 nga ayuda niya kani nga tawo wala ko kailaan ni so ako ra na siya tagaan og 5k nga ayuda but sa kuan nga gihatag sa kuan kanang kinatasan is fair ang paghatag sa 10k og dapat dili pod unta kanang bitang mag-abi kay politiko or government ka sa imong lugar so dapat kuan mo pili ka kung kinsay kailan nimo dapat fair tas tanan. So si Kant stresses that a society can only functions politically in relation of the state if fundamental rights, laws and entitlements are given and enhanced by the state. So moto no nga gingon ganina nga if you have kuan kaning title sa imuang barangay or unsa pa na nga lugar dili na makuan nimo ang right sa imuang self kung inana ang imuang kuan kaning kanabitang kuan kaning leader sa inyo ang lugar so dapat kung in the future kung mangita ta sa tuang leader gusto nato ma-leader sa tuang lugar dapat mo choose tag kuan kaning mo-vote tag tarong aron nga kuan kaning mo makapili ta kay naman tay choose nga mo pili kung kinsa ang ipa-leader sa tuang lugar. As Kant teaches, these righteous laws are founded upon three rational principles. So number 1, the liberty of every member of the society as a man. So natay kuan kaning katungod sa isa ka member nato. Second, the equality of every member of the society with every other as a subject. So dapat natay equal sa atuang kuan bisan lang sa tuang members dapat equal ang pagkuan. Dayon at ang number 3 is the independence of every member of the Commonwealth as a citizen. So the book Metaphysics of Moral has two distinct parts. So ang isa is the doctrine of rights and the second is the doctrine of virtue. Kant sought to separate political rights and duties from what we might call morals in the narrow sense. He limit rights by stating three conditions that have to be met or something to be enforceable as right. So ang first is right concerns only actions that has influence on other persons, directly or indirectly, meaning duties to the self are excluded. Right does not concern the wish but only the choice of others, meaning that not mere desire but only decision which bring about actions are at stake. So, ang right dili lang sa to ang wish kundi about sa to ang choice sa ato ang sa uban og kuan sad sa kana bitang magpili ta kung unsa atong sakto nga decision or magpili ta kung kuan kaning kuan ba siya sa kuan ba siya sa to ang pagka-leader sa to ang country or sa to ang barangays. So number 3, right does not concern the matters of the others acts but only the form, meaning no particular desires or ends are assumed on the parts of the agents. As an example of the latter, he considers trade, which for rights must have the form of being freely agreed by both parties but can have any matter or purpose the agents want. So, mo siya nga si Kant si Immanuel Kant is kuan kaning nag-choose siya or nagkuan siya sa nagtuo siya, nag-obey siya sa 10 commandments sa Ginoo. So unta nga atong sa di-practice sa ato ang kinabuhi to help others ug ipili nato ang ato ang pagka good persons kay kuan kanang dili na siya kung sa mga utukan lang nga i-apply na but mo apply sa ta sa to ang kinabuhi para nga kuan kanibit kanang makatabang pata sa to ang isig katawo ug kuan kaning as a social worker nga kuan kaning obliged jud nato to help others nga mas nginahanglan pa og kuan kaning og need sad nila ang country or sa to ang barangays. So number 3, right does not concern the matters of the others acts but only the form, meaning no particular desires or ends are assumed on the parts of the agents. As an example of the latter, he considers trade, which for rights must have the form of being freely agreed by both parties but can have any matter or purpose the agents want. So, mo siya nga si Kant si Immanuel Kant is kuan kaning nag-choose siya or nagkuan siya sa nagtuo siya, nag-obey siya sa 10 commandments sa Ginoo. So unta nga atong sa di-practice sa ato ang kinabuhi to help others ug ipili nato ang ato ang pagka good persons kay kuan kanang dili na siya kung sa mga utukan lang nga i-apply na but mo apply sa ta sa to ang kinabuhi para nga kuan kanibit kanang makatabang pata sa to ang isig katawo ug kuan kaning as a social worker nga kuan kaning obliged jud nato to help others nga mas nginahanglan pa og kuan kaning og need sad nila ang social worker to help their problems. So kuan unta in the near future sa atong future nga kuan as sa ato nga batch sa social worker nga pilion nato kung unsa ang gipili ni Kant nga kuan i-obey ang 10 commandments sa Ginoo ug unta nga ato sad i-apply nga ipili nato or kay we have freedom to choose kung unsa ang atong buhaton. So pilion nato ang kuan kaning bitang ang pagkakuan good person or kuan kana pili ta kung unsay dili na to pilion kung kinsa atong tabangan or mas atong pilion nga mas kung kaya nato kayano nato sa pagtabang sa ubang tawo. So si Immanuel Kant believed that what applies to one must apply to all. The world would be perfect if everyone acted rationally and followed their duty and treated people not as means but as ends in themselves. So sa ako pud no sa pagbasa nako ni nga kuan nga gikuan ni Emmanuel nagkonsad ko nga yes no kung magbuhat ta sa sakto or magbuhat ta sakto sa kanang atong kuan sa atong self sa kita tanan magpili ta sa sakto nga mga butang is ang ato adyong kuan kaning ato adyong kalibutan is perfect kay kuan gipili man nato ang magpakakuan magpa kuan sa ubang tawo o mopili ta to treat them good og kuan kaning mo pili ta sa atong pagka good persons. So kuan sad kaning kung moubay sad ta sa Ginoo. So mao ra to daghang salamat.
So God bless everyone. I am Junaida Tago. I am a third reporter. So rights, nature of rights, kind of rights. Rights. A right is a justified claim, entitlement, or assertion of what a rights holder is due. For a person to have the moral right to have, get, or do something, there must be a moral basis or justification for the claim. Our legal, social, or ethical principles of freedom or entitlement, that is, rights are the fundamental normative rules about what is allowed of people or owed to people according to some legal system. Social convention or ethical theory. Rights are rights are of essential importance in such disciplines as law and ethics, especially theories or justice and deontology. So, why is right to life important? This means that nobody, including the government, can try to end your life. It also means the government should take appropriate measures to safeguard life by making laws to protect you and, in some circumstances, by taking steps to protect you if your life is at risk. So naatay six nature of rights. Ang number one kay rights are the basic social conditions offered to the individual who is an indispensable member of the society. Ang rights daw is mao na gyud ni siya ang basin nga kinaiya nga naa sa atong matag usa og necessary or kinanghanglang gyud na nato. So, number two kay rights enable man to fully enhance his personality to achieve his best self. In the words of Lasky, they are those social conditions without which no man can seek to be his best self. Ang rights daw mao ang nagpaila or nagpamatngon sa tao aron nga ma-enhance pa niya iyang personality para makamit gyud daw niya iyang best self or goal. Okay, number three are inherently social because they are never against social welfare. The rights did not exist before the emergence of society. They are those fundamental necessities that which are very much social. Inherently social gyud ang rights kay dili ni siya nagasupak sa social welfare o wala pod ni siya ga-exist before sa emergence sa society. Kuan lang daw kanang need og necessary lang gyud siya sa matag usa. Okay, number four. The state plays the role of recognizing and protecting the rights by providing for the full maintenance and observance of the rights. Ang Estado ay gumaganap ng papel na kilalanin at protektahan ang mga karapatan sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay para sa buong pagpapanatili at pagtalima ng mga karapatan. Okay, number five. Rights are never absolute. The nature and extent for the fulfillment of the rights are relative. as long men endeavor for the upliftment and betterment of the conditions of life. Rights continue to serve as means for the satisfaction and gratification of individuals' needs. So there can be no rights which are absolute in nature because of absolute rights are a contradiction in terms. Okay. Ang mga karapatan ay hindi kailanman ganap. Ang kalikasan at lawak ng katuparan ng mga karapatan ay relatibo, habang ang mga tao ay nagsisikap para sa pagtaas at pagpapabuti ng mga kondisyon ng buhay. Ang mga karapatan ay patuloy na nagsisilbing paraan para sa kasiyahan at kasiyahan ng mga pangailangan ng mga individual. Kaya walang mga karapatan na ganap na likas dahil ang mga ganap na karapatan ay isang contradiction sa mga tuntunin. Number 6. Rights are dynamic in nature because the essence and contents of rights vary according to change in place, time, and condition. Sa kanisya, ang mga karapatan ay likas na dinamiko dahil ang kakanyahan at nilalaman ng mga karapatan ay nag-iiba ayon sa pagbabago sa lugar, panahon at condition. Dayon, sunod, kind of rights, natural rights, moral rights, legal rights. Natural rights. The modern idea of natural rights grew out of the ancient and medieval doctrines of natural law. Several scholars have expressed faith in natural law. They stated that people inherit several rights from nature. Before they came to live in society and state, they used to live in a state of nature, and they enjoyed certain natural rights, like the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right to property. John Locke (1632–1704), the most influential political philosopher of the modern period, argued that people have rights such as the right to life, liberty, and property that have a foundation independent of the laws of any particular society. So, ang natural rights daw is gistate sa mga several scholars nga ang natural rights is that kitang mga tao kuno na inherit or nakuha nato ni from nature, just like the right to life, so naatay katungod mabuhi, the right to liberty or naatay kagawasan, and the right to property. Moral rights. The term moral rights is a translation of the French term droit moral and refers not to morals as advocated by the religious right, but rather to the ability of authors to control the eventual fate of their works. An author is said to have the moral right to control his/her work. The concept or moral rights thus relies on the connection between an author and his/her creation. Moral rights protect the personal and reputational, rather than purely monetary, the value of a work to its creator. Moral rights. Ang term moral rights kuno is a translation sa French term droit moral and refers not to morals as advocated by the religious right, but rather kung dili to the ability of authors nga to control the eventual fate of their works. An author is said to have a moral right to release on the connection between an author and his or her creation. So, ang moral rights nagaprotect sa personal o reputation rather than purely monetary. Dayon, ang sunod kay legal rights. Legal rights are the common claims of people which every cultured society recognizes as essential claims for their development, and which are therefore enforced by the state. Those legal rights are those rights which are recognized, enforced by the state. Any violation of any legal right is punished by law. These rights can be enforced against individuals and also against the government. And this way, legal rights are different from moral rights. Legal rights are equally available to all citizens. Sa kaning legal rights, mauni siya ang pinaka-common nga claims of people which every culture o society recognizes as essential claims daw sa ilang development, and which are therefore gina-enforce sa state. Dayon ang legal rights, maugyod ni siya ang gina-recognize o gina-enforce sa matag state. Any violation, any legal rights is punished by law. Para dali nato masabtan kaning tulo nga kinds of rights, ang ilang difference kay ang natural rights ay mga hindi nakabase sa anumang batas o kumbensyon ng kultura o pamahalaan. Ang moral rights ay isang kalipunan ng mga prinsipyo na nagtatangkang tukuyin kung ano ang mabuti at masamang pag-uugali. While ang legal rights ay mga ibinibigay sa isang tao ng isang legal na sistema at maaari silang baguhin, alisin o paghigpitan ng mga batas ng tao.